Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another concert review. This is my second one this week, and actually the same vein, kind of bluegrass type music. I had the good fortune tonight to see Old Crow Medicine Show, bluegrass string band out of Harrisonburg, Virginia, the Shenandoah Valley, with special guest Molly Tuttle opening the show. And I was able to go with my cousin Ethan, who I've talked about a couple times. He's given me some CDs in the past, and he's a big fan of music, so it was good to have Ethan along for the journey. And what a show! Uh, Absolutely incredible show. I saw Old Crow in 2015 with almost a completely different lineup, with the exception of frontman Catch Secor and bassist Morgan Janning, who are the two sole original members still in the group. Almost an entirely new line of players, but man, did they put on a show. Um, Old Crow started as buskers up in Harrisonburg. They were actually discovered 25 years ago this year by Doc Watson, who heard them busking and asked whoever he was with to stop and listen. And so they were kind of taken under Doc Watson's wing early on, and they've just expanded and they've become just a great live band. They've put out several records. They're currently touring under this fantastic album called Paint This Town. 12 brand new tracks, and they did a few songs from this album, which I'll get into in just a minute. But as a whole, if I were to rank best concerts that I've been to, energy wise, this is going to be right there at the top. And I've seen 65 ish shows in my life. It was an incredible show. It was incredible. And like I said, I saw them in 2015. It was an outdoor venue last time. It was an amphitheater here in town. And this was actually inside a performing arts venue. Just about a full house full of rambunctious people ready to get down with the strings, with the fiddles, with the banjos. Again, it was incredible. They sang songs like "Cocaine Habit," which was a big early track for them. "Humdinger," "Eight Dogs, Eight Banjos," and then, like I said, they did songs from this album. They did the title track called "Paint This Town," which is almost like a John Mellencamp track. "Lord Willing" and "The Creek Don't Rise," which has the great line. "It's only half a mile as the old crow flies, good Lord a willing and the creek don't rise," sung by Corey Younts, who is in this group. And Corey is cool because he's played, and I want to be sure I got his last name right. I believe it's Corey Younts. Yeah, Corey Younts, who is multi-instrument. They're all multi-instrumentalists in this group, which is so cool. It's it's the true essence of a band. He's played with Jack White for a few years. He played with Justin Townes Earl. He's played sessions for a lot of different people, and he's been with Old Crow now for probably going on a decade or so. Really great singer. He played banjo. He played keys most of the night, but harmonica. You had a newcomer, Jerry Pentecost, on the drums. African American fellow, which is really cool to have in bluegrass an African American in that bluegrass culture, and he's very proud of it. He talks about it in interviews, and he sings a great song on this album called "D Ford Rides Again," which is about D Ford Bailey, the harmonica player who was kind of shunned out of the Grand Ole Opry. He was, I think, the first African American member of the Grand Ole Opry, if I'm not mistaken. He was a little 4'9" harmonica player, and he was kind of ousted from the Grand Ole Opry due to racial reasons and disgusting things like that. And he was eventually welcomed back into the Opry, and just recently Old Crow essentially got a formal apology from the Grand Ole Opry for him, which they'd never fully given. But he does this great song called "D Ford Rides Again." It's just a fast-paced song. They did they sang they did "Paint This Town," "D Ford Rides Again," and Lord Willing, The Creek Don't Rise from this album. Again, they did, all their other songs. They did Carry Me Back to Virginia, which is a huge song, especially when you're playing it here in Virginia. Crowd was going crazy. But some of the best moments of the night were some of the covers. They did Dixieland Delight as the first song of their encore. Of course, they closed the set with Wagon Wheel, which is their big hit. That was the song that made them, it shaped them. That was the song that really blew up when Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish took it and made it massive. But it's always an Old Crow song to me. It was originally a Bob Dylan demo during the Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid sessions, and the Dylan camp allowed Old Crow to finish the song and list Dylan as a co-songwriter. They did that one other time on their, I think it was the album Remedy, where they sing the song Sweet Amarillo, which was also a Pat Garrett session from Bob Dylan, and that's a beautiful waltz. If you don't know Sweet Amarillo, if you like songs by like the band, check out Sweet Amarillo. It's a fantastic song. It's such a great song, and they had the audience swaying and dancing. But they did covers, like I said, they did Dixieland Delight, which I believe they did on a tribute album to Alabama. That got a big response from the crowd. Molly Tuttle, let's talk about her for a second as the opener. If you don't know Molly Tuttle, check out Molly Tuttle. If I'm not mistaken, she's currently dating Ketch Secor, but she is a bluegrass picker extraordinaire. She can play. I mean, I saw Billy Strings earlier this week. She's on the same level. I mean, she can pick, and she just won Grammy for Bluegrass Album of the Year just a couple of weeks ago. I think she's won a couple of awards for Flat Picker of the Year in the bluegrass circles. But she did a great cover of She's a Rainbow by the Rolling Stones. Apparently she had put out a covers album that she recorded during COVID, just songs that she loved and kind of grew up with, and she did She's a Rainbow, and it was fantastic from their Satanic Majesty's Request from the Rolling Stones. She also did White Freightliner by Townes Van Zandt, which was really cool too, to hear that song. She came back out later with the Old Crows and did a song from her new album called Big Backyard, which is about the earth and how we're all sharing the same yard. Let's take care of it together. Fantastic track. She told a story about that, how it was an Old Crow song, and they were kind of for this album, and they said, "Nah, we're not going to put it on the album. We don't have room." And she said, "Well, can I have it?" And so they said, "Sure." So they gave it to her, and then they ended up playing on the new record with her on that song. So check out Big Backyard by Molly Tuttle. It's fantastic. But one of the huge highlights for me was when Molly came back out toward the end. She and Ketch duetted on "Stop Dragging My Heart Around," the Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks track. Killer. My cousin Ethan said it was his favorite cover of that song that he's ever heard, and I wouldn't be far-fetched to agree with him because it was fantastic. I was not expecting that. I know last time I saw Old Crow, they sang "Won't Back Down" by Tom Petty, which was cool. So they obviously have a big affinity for Tom Petty, which I love. It makes me respect them a lot more. On top of the fact that they're Virginia born and bred, they were raised in the area of Virginia where I went to college in the Shenandoah Valley. So they have what it takes. And again, of course, Wagon Wheel goes down huge in town here because I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. And one of the big lines in the song Wagon Wheel is, walking down south out of Roanoke. I saw a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long toque. And so when they sing that line, they really slow it down. The audience just lets out Roanoke because, they're playing in Roanoke. It was just, it's so cool when that can happen. And Ketch Secor, the fiddle player, the main guy, he is a showman, and he tells you geographical stories. He talks about the railroad that runs through Roanoke. He talks about all the local landmarks because he's from Virginia and he knows Roanoke. He talked about busking in Roanoke. Some of the guys in the band are from Giles, Patrick County and Damascus, Virginia, and they were talking about different places that they've played in Roanoke growing up. There's a new guy in the band named Mason Villa, and I believe he had a run on American Idol. He got cut. I think he's like 23 years old, and then they just pulled him in for this album. Let's see if his picture is here. Yeah, there it is. Young kid, like I said, probably about 22, 23 years old. he was talking about all the different spots in Roanoke that he played. So that was really cool. And it makes it feel more like they want to be there kind of thing. The one complaint that I would have about the show probably is that I do miss the old guys. I miss guys like um, uh, Kevin Hayes and Critter Fuqua. Critter is one of the founders of the group. So hearing songs like "Tell It to Me" without Critter's voice on it, the song like "Shout Mountain Music" from the album Volunteer, it was or Eight Dogs, Eight Banjos. It was a little different to hear it without Critter. So I do miss his voice, and I really hope that he can come back soon. I think he's going through some personal things, and he just had to cut out of the group. So Critter, if you ever see this, I would love for you to come back with the Old Crows at some point. But it was a killer show. At one point, they were doing some sort of like dance competition where they wanted the crowd to dance, and some guy up in the front row took his shirt off and was doing handstands, and they were trying to, the ushers were trying to get rid of him, and they were like Old Crow was offering to give away prizes, and they gave one guy a T-shirt, and they said, that guy, they said he doesn't even need a shirt because his shirt was off, so they threw him a harmonica, which was really cool. I thought he was going to get thrown out of the show, to be honest with you. Two of the ushers had to grab him when he was doing handstands. And some of the ushers had a little communication difficulty, because sometimes you would hear people say, you're not allowed to film video, and other times the ushers would say, no, it's fine. Actually, one usher told the guy to stop filming, and then he came back and apologized and said, actually, you can film. And then toward the end of the show, I was filming something, and a lady is running down the aisle saying, don't film, don't film. So I don't know what they heard, but I think you were allowed to. Just a couple people. The general rule is probably you're not allowed to film. But anyway, fantastic show, 10 out of 10. If you can see Old Crow Medicine Show, if you want a fast-paced, rambunctious show, see it. And for my rock and roll fans, my heavier guys, when they came back out for the encore, they did Rock and Roll All Night, Party Every Day by Kiss, and that was really fun for everybody to sing. And then, of course, they had to close with Will the Circle Be Unbroken by the Carter Family. And man, that song gets me, especially sung by, 2,000 people. Just a killer song. So please see Old Crow Medicine Show. Check out the album Paint This Town. Check out any of their records. They're all fun. They're all good. And let me know if you saw the show. Let me know if you've seen this tour. Let me know what you think of Old Crow. If you've heard them, I'll be happy to give you recommendations. They are maybe the top touring band right now, like the most high energy touring band. Fantastic show. Loved every second of it. Had a great time with Ethan. And yeah, let me know what y'all think. Subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. Be good, take care, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.